Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Keeneland Racecourse here on Saturday. It is April the 7th, 2018. It's Toyota Bluegrass Day from Keeneland. I'm going to look at all the stakes races on today's snowy day from Keeneland, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections from race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Hopefully they go ahead with this car from Keeneland today, because they'll be getting a really bad snowstorm, and saying that in April is just so it's so upsetting because I hate cold weather, and April's supposed to be nice weather, not shitty weather. So hopefully they could run this card. If not, knowing them, most definitely they'll be making up these races most likely next week. And if they have to make up the races next week, I'll be making this video again, so just keep that in mind. But let's get on to it. Gonna look at all the stakes races 6, 7, 8, 9, and the feature 10th race, which is the Toyota Bluegrass. Race number 6 from Keeneland. It is the 32nd running of the Commonwealth, grade 3, purse $250,000. It's 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, if you want to go by that, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the main track. And I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down at my notes. Just bear with me. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs. My top pick in this race, I like the number 10 horse here, First Premio. Gonna go 10-5-6-4 in the superfecta. 10-5-6-4 super. Top pick number 10, First Premio. 4-year-old colt by Pure Prize. Tyler Gaffney gets on this Marquesi trained 4-year-old colt by Pure Prize. Marquesi is fully loaded this weekend at Keeneland, I must say. This horse's most recent outing came the 17th of February at the fairgrounds, a mile and 1/16th in the grade 3 mineshaft handicap. This horse finished 4th by 4.5 lengths that day. The player just ran a little bit of a better race. The horse's first start routing on dirt. I just think he needed that race. I think with the cutback, with the fast pace in front of him today, he should run really well, I think. Start before the 30th of December at the fairgrounds. 1 mile in the Wood Chopper Stakes. This horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths. Closed up well that day. It wasn't a bad run. It was a decent effort. And then on the 1st of November at Woodbine, mile 16th, op 62 claimer. Horse won by 2 1/4 lengths. Sat about mid-pack that day. Got the lead and then took off very nicely at the 16th pole. Very nice, easy victory. Like I said, I think the mile distances, or 1 turn 7 furlong distances up this horse's alley today. He's been training. He has really good workout on this race course. March 31st, 4 furlong workout, 48-4. 27th best workout, 50. So I think this horse is raring to go. 12-1. I'm all over this horse here today on the snowy day from Keeneland, so watch out. So to recap my bets for the 6th from Keeneland, it's the 32nd running of the grade 3 Commonwealth. Gonna go with the number 10 horse, First Premio. Gonna go 10-5-6-4 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 7 from Keeneland. In the 7th race, it's the 22nd running of the Shakertown, grade 2, purse $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 16 horses. The 15 and 16 are also eligible, so only 14 could go. The distance of ground here of 1,100 meters, if you want to go to that, or the distance of ground of 5 1/2 furlongs on the Keeneland turf course. Rails out 15 feet, so the portable rails are up, so just keep that in mind. My top pick in this race, I like the number 9 horse in this very wide open race. The number 9 horse, Big Handsome. Gonna go 9-13-5-2 in the superfecta. 9-13-5-2 superfecta. But to tell you the truth, instead of playing a 10-cent straight, I might 10-cent key it for the underneath positions, because it's like these races are just so difficult. But my top pick, number 9, Big Handsome. Very confident in him running a big one. 4-year-old colt by Street Boss. Florent Giroux is on this one. Tony Dutro trains this one. This horse's most recent outing came on the 27th of October. That came here in New York at Belmont. 6 furlongs, inner turf course, optional 100 claimers. First time facing older horses. This horse finished 3rd by 3 lengths that day. Was a little bit wide at the top of the lane, but was coming at the end. It wasn't a bad 3rd place finish at 40 cents to the dollar. Before that, the 10th of September at Belmont, 6 furlongs, inner turf course in the Allied Forces. For 3-year-olds that day, this horse finished 2nd by a neck, and didn't have the best of trips that day. It was a little bit wide. He got caught right before the wire. It was just a weird race for him. And then the Hall of Famer Saratoga routing a mile 16, August 4th. Horse finished 3rd by 3/4 length. Stalked that day, got the lead, and then got overtaken. He didn't give up at the end. He fought on, but I just think the 5.5 to 7 furlong distance on turf is this horse's outing. So you'll probably be seeing this horse at Belmont during their next next meeting, running in 1 7 furlong turf race. But, that day routing on the turf just wasn't his day to win. And then at Belmont, 1 mile in the Manelia, his horse finished second by a neck, closed up well. He ran his heart out. That wasn't a bad run. I like this horse here. Watch out for him at 6-1. So to recount my bets for the 7th from Keeneland, it's the 22nd running of the Grade 2 Shakertown. Gonna go with the 9 horse Big Handsome. Gonna go 9-13. 5-2 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 8 from Keeneland. The 8th race, it's the 17th running of the Madison Stakes. Grade 1, purse $300,000. It's fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards. Field of 13 horses going the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, if you want to go to that, or the distance of ground of 7 furlongs on the Keeneland main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs. Top pick in this race, I like the number 2 horse here. The number 2 horse, Lewis Bay. Gonna go 2-11-10-12. 2-11-10-12 superfecta. My top 4 basically. Top pick number 2, Lewis Bay. 7-2. Chad Brown trains this 1 5-year-old mare. Irad Ortiz Jr. gets the leg up. This horse's most recent outing came on the 19th of February at Gulfstream Park. 1 mile in the Grade 3 Royal Delta Stakes. This horse finished second by a length that day. And, just was with the leaders that day. Kind of a little bit of a duel, and just kind of couldn't get that head in front at the end. Martina Glass just ran a little bit better and one next start out, but I think with a cutback in trip, hopefully not going so fast, I do think this horse could run a big one. Start before the 16th of December at Gulfstream Park, 1 mile in the Grade 3 Rampart. This horse won by 1 1/4 lengths, broke on top and was on lead all throughout, and just had a very nice victory. All around great effort, especially off a year layoff. His start before came 26th November at Aqueduct, mile 8th in the Grade 3 Comely. His horse finished second by a neck that day. It was a little bit wide, just off and on the pace most of the race. It got caught right before the wire, but ran his heart out at a mile and 8th that day. And then against lesser quality horses in the turnback, the Alarm Handicap at Belmont, mile 16th October the 29th, 2016. Horse won by 5 1/4 lengths. Broke on top and was on lead all throughout. Very easy victory. The 7 furlong distance, I think, is up this horse's alley today. Should like a little bit of a wet going. Watch out for this horse to run a big one. So to recap my bets for the 8th from Keeneland, it's the 17th running of the Grade 1 Madison. Gonna go with the 2 horse Lewis Bay. Gonna go 2-11-10-12 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 9 from Keeneland. The 9th race, it's the 81st running of the Central Bank Ashland. Grade 1, purse $500,000. It's for fillies, 3-year-olds. Fields of 7 horses going the 1,700-meter trip, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Keeneland main track. Keep in mind they'll be using the 16th pole finish line, so it's a short stretch for this mile and 1/16 affair. And if you're going to play an all-stakes pick 5 that begins in race 6, I would single the logical single, I think, is the 1 horse in this race, the number 1 horse, Monomi Girl. I'm going to go 1-5-2-6 in the superfecta, 1-5-2-6 super, but a single for me is the 1 horse, Monomi Girl, my top pick. 4-5, Florent Jou is on this Broadcox trained 3-year-old filly by Tapazar. This horse's most recent outing came on the 17th of February at the Fairgrounds, mile 16th in Grade 2 Rachel Alexander. This horse won by 2.5 lengths that day. Sat basically last up until the top of the stretch. Had a great turn of foot at the end and won very nicely. But just to keep in mind, she did hit the gate going out of the starting gate, of course. She wouldn't hit the gate going around the clubhouse turn. She hit it out of the gate. But other than that, she did have a very nice turn of foot at the end. Before that, in the Goldenrod at Churchill, mile 16th, November 25th, this horse finished second by a neck that day. Broke on top and set the pace most of the race. In the stretch, this horse was just drifting a little bit, and I think that cost her the race. She got caught right before the wire. Disappointing beat, but she had a lot of 2-year-old antics that day. And then the Rags to Riches at Churchill, 1 mile, October the 29th. Horse won by 6.5 lengths. Was broke on top and just had a very easy victory on the lead all route. Very easy. Her last race was very impressive. A race where she didn't have to set the pace, and she has different running styles. She could either set the pace or come off the pace, or come from the back of the pack. I think she'll set the pace here today because these mile 16th races at Keeneland, you want speed from the round. She has it, and she's a very nice horse. 4-5. I know it's not the best price, but you're going to have to take it here. You can make money in the other legs, so watch out. So to recap my bets for the 9th race from Keeneland, it's the 81st running of the Ashland Stakes. I'm going to go with the 1 horse, Monomi Girl. I'm going to go 1-5-2-6 in the superfecta, single the 1 horse in the pick 5. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Keeneland. The 10th race, it's the feature race. It's the 94th running of the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes. Grade 2 purse, $1 million. It's for 3-year-olds. Field of 15 horses, but the 15 horse isn't also eligible, so only 14 could go in the gate. The distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or 1 mile and 1/8 on the Keeneland Main Dirt Course. 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8. Top pick in this race. I like the number 2 horse here. The number 2 horse, Sporting Chance. I'm going to go 2-6-11-5 in the superfecta. 2-6-11-5 super. I'm going to, for the multi-race wager, I'm going to go 3 deep. I'm going to use the 2 horse Sporting Chance. I'm going to use the 6 horse Marconi. And I'm going to use the 11 horse Good Magic. I'll talk about all 3 of those in a second. But first horse I'll be talking about is my top pick, the 2 horse Sporting Chance. 10-1, 3-year-old colt by Tisnow. Luis Saez gets back on this Dewey and Lucas trained 3-year-old colt by Tisnow. This horse just didn't run well a few weeks ago in the Rebel. I did back him that day at Oaklawn. Mile 16th in the Grade 2 Rebel. Horse finished 5th by 5 3/4 lengths. Just stalked that day and just never had a good closing kick that day. I don't know if he handled the track well. It was just a very weird race. I think coming here to Keeneland with a good inside poster and getting regular rider Luis Saez back up, I do think this horse should run a lot better. Start before the 19th of February at Oaklawn, muddy going, mile 16th in the Grade 3 Southwest. First off the layoff in a while. This horse finished 3rd by 7 lengths that day. Didn't have the best of starts, bad traffic trip, closed up a little bit at the end, but it wasn't enough to win. It wasn't the best of runs. Start before as a 2-year-old at Saratoga, good ground, 7 furlongs in the Grade 1 hopeful. This horse won by a neck, and at the 16th pole, this horse looked like he was about to win by quite a few, but I don't know if he saw a shadow that day. He jumped out about, I don't know, a quarter of a furlong from the wire and nearly dumped Saez and nearly cost the race, but he just held on. But it was a very weird antic he had right at the end of that race. But other than that, he ran perfectly that day, other than the last quarter furlong. And then start before at Saratoga, 5.5 furlongs, main special weight 83,000. Horse won by 2 1/4 lengths on lead all throughout. Destroyed those 2-year-olds that day. If he wants to win today, he'll have to sit a little bit closer. I do think he's fresh enough because he's had some very nice workouts over the last 2 weeks at Oaklawn. Watch out for him here to run a big one at 10-1. Another horse I like here is number 6 horse Marconi, who I think is going to get bent to the ground here today because of the jockey booking of Ryan Moore coming into to ride this horse, which I was quite upset to see because I've been talking about this horse for the last few weeks, and now he's going to get Ryan Moore, who's going to get bent to the ground. So 15-1, you're going to see probably 8-1 at post time, which is not as good as 15-1, but 3-year-old colt by Tappet. Top Fletcher trades is one for Coolmore. That's why Ryan Moore's coming in to ride this horse. This horse, he's a perfect mile and the 1/8 horse, and with a lot of pace in this race, I do think he can run well. His most recent outing came in the Fountain of Youth, March 3rd at Gulfstream, mile 16th in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth. This horse finished 5th by 7 3/4 lengths. Had a wide poster, which is not ideal going the mile 16th at Gulfstream. Just was a little bit wide, but was closing up that day, which is quite weird because those races don't play towards closers. I think with the longer stretch here today, he should really do well. Start 4th and 3rd of February at Aqueduct, mile 8th in Grade 3 Withers. This horse finished 3rd by 2.5 lengths. Didn't break all that well. He had a little bit of a turn of foot at the end, but it wasn't enough to win. I think he needed that race. But his 2 starts before at Aqueduct were very nice races. December the 15th at Aqueduct, mile 8th, and a main special weight for 60,000. He won by 5.5 lengths. Again, didn't break all that well, but sat back early, took full control in the stretch, and took off clear at the end. A very nice victory. Then at Aqueduct, mile 8th, November the 17th. Remember this race so clear, main special weight 60,000. This horse finished 2nd by 1 3/4 lengths. Again, didn't break all that well, but was coming at the end. It wasn't a bad race at all. He's a closer here with a lot of speed in this race. 15-1, I think he can get a piece of it. Watch out for this horse. Like I said, 15-1, he's in morning line. He's probably going to go off at 8-7-1 because Ryan Moore, which is unfortunate. But, watch out for that one. Another horse here I like is number 11 horse, Good Magic. 2-1, 3-year-old colt by Curlin. Jose Ortiz gets on this one for Chad Brown. This horse won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last fall very nicely by 4 1/4 lengths. He stalked early. He got he took off some horses in the stretch and took off clear. Very nice victory for this horse at 11.5-1. After that Breeders' Cup victory, they took this horse to the Fountain of Youth next start out a month ago, where he finished 3rd by 4.5 lengths. 70 cents to a dollar over bet that day by a lot of people. He was just wide and just never really had a run. It just wasn't his day to win. Maybe he needed that race. Here today he has a little bit of a wide post draw, but if he's good enough, I think he can win. But that last race was very weird. The start before the Bruce Cup Juvenile race, came the Grade 1 Champagne here in New York at Belmont, 1 mile, October the 7th. His horse finished second by a half length. Again, was a little bit wide, didn't break all that well. Sat mid-pack, but closed up well, had the lead, and then got overtaken right before the wire. But he did show a little bit of heart that day. And then Saratoga, 6.5 furlongs, clean special weight, and late August. Horse finished second by length that day behind a horse by the name of Has It. That's a fun name, Has It. This horse was just wide that day, but was coming at the end. From a wide poster, if he'd overcome it, I do think he could run well. He's been training decently since his last start. Watch out for this horse at 2-1. So to recap my bets for the 10th from Keeneland, it's the 94th running of the Grade 2 Bluegrass Stakes. Gonna go with the number 2 horse here, Sporting Chance. I'm also going to use the 6 horse Marconi on a pick 5 ticket, along with the number 11 horse Good Magic on a pick 5 ticket. So I'm going to go 2, 6, 11, 5 in the superfecta, 2, 6, 11 in my pick 5. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.